Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Welcome to r/AmITheButthole, a subreddit that I know all of you guys love. So I won't waste my time on an intro and get straight into this first post by user/Weethy13. This happened years ago, early on in the marriage, but it's something I've always wondered about. I've never found short hair on women attractive, or nowhere near as anyway. My wife knew this as I talked about it in the past. We'd known another years before we started dating, so we knew each other very well before then. With that said, I never told her not to cut her hair short, forbid her to cut her hair short, or even asked her not to. She got on a kick about getting her hair cut short and asked me what I thought of the idea, to which I told her I'm sure I won't like it, but your body, your hair kind of thing. I never told her to do it or not to do it. At some point, a few weeks or months later, she comes home one day with a very short haircut. At her ears short, and asked me what I thought of it. I had told her that it was very unlikely I would like it, and I don't like it at all. I didn't fuss, yell, or anything like that. She asked me for my opinion, and I gave it to her. This really hurt her feelings, and she was very upset with me, to the point that she cried and then would barely talk to me for a couple of days. So Reddit world, was I the butthole for simply being honest about her haircuts? Look, I'm gonna go with no buttholes here. Honestly, no one was really being annoying, no one was being problematic. But this was an interesting debate of husbandly duties. On one hand, OP wanted to be honest with his wife. On the other, he also wanted to make her feel good about herself. And I guess in this case, he chose honesty, which I can understand. And here's our next post by user/Bobarella. I'm Sam, my roommate's name is Lauren, and her boyfriend's name is Mark. Lauren and Mark have been dating for maybe 4 months. Mark always hits on me. Like, always. As soon as Lauren walks away, Mark is laying it on thick with compliments and asking when our lease is up. I wear a lot of bodycon and sometimes low-cut clothing, so I expect to get glances, maybe mild staring. But this guy is very obviously hitting on me. And oftentimes, in ways that make me uncomfortable, especially since he's always at our apartment. I've told Lauren several times that Mark hits on me, and she just rolls her eyes. She doesn't believe me, which is confusing to me. Lauren and I have been roommates for 5 years. In that time, she's dated 3 other guys, and I've never complained about this before. So, yesterday, she tells me that Mark is coming over. I was like, great. I told her if she would just walk upstairs in our apartment building and tell Mark that she was going around the block, she would walk in and see him hitting on me. She actually agreed to do it to humour me. Mark gets to the apartment and I'm just doing the dishes. I tell him that Lauren went to the store up the block, but she's really right outside the door. He sits at the counter and starts chatting with me normally. Then the conversation turns to him hitting on me. Normally, I just walk away from Mark. But I endured it so that Lauren could see and hear. She came in and told Mark to go to her room. She then starts yelling at me, saying I tried to seduce him and that I dress like a tramp. And I'm like, I always dress like a tramp, Lauren. Who cares? Your boyfriend is hitting on me. We argued and both said some trashy stuff to each other. She and Mark are staying in her bedroom and we haven't spoken to each other since. As I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering if I'm a butthole for even trying to do this. But at the same time, I think she sucks for not believing me in the first place. I live in New York, I love my neighborhood, I don't want to have to find a new roommate because of this idiot. If I did a butthole thing, please tell me, am I the butthole? Not the butthole OP. Lauren's a butthole, Mark's a butthole, and they really need to just sort out their relationship. And here's our next post by user/Throwra27278p. I've been with my wife since we were 12, got married at 18 and had our son at 20. I'm now 23. I do not celebrate my birthdays. Last birthday I did was my 8th, and then my mother decided it wasn't really worth it. Since then, I usually grab myself a pizza and watch films. My wife knows this. My wife is the complete opposite and loves going all out. We always have to celebrate our child's birth week, which I wasn't even aware was a thing. Wife was acting unusual all day. She made me pancakes, my favourite thing, which is weird since we usually go to the cafe. She wanted to jog with me too, which is weird since she hates jogging and seemed really bright all morning. Got home from work that day to find several of her friends and 3 of mine there. They yelled surprise and my wife seemed so happy, so I tried to pretend. She had bought beer, which she hates. Only, she got the brand she knows I hate. Fine, I had one anyway. She baked a cake, chocolate, which she knows I hate. She must have noticed I hadn't eaten a slice and noticed I wasn't thrilled. When the people left, she started a huge argument with me over it. She'd been planning it for weeks and thought it was so special. I'd made all her hard work seem thoughtless. I told her she hadn't thrown me a party, it was for her, and left. It's been a week since, and she's really upset with me. A couple of my friends are saying I'm a butthole for making her feel bad and should have sucked it up because it was thoughtful. Am I the butthole? Look, I think I'm gonna have to go with no buttholes here. OP, I don't blame you for not wanting to celebrate your birthday, that's fair enough. I also don't blame your wife, she wanted to do something special for you. Maybe she thought she'd throw you such a good party you'd want to celebrate your birthday every year. But at the same time, everyone likes doing things their own way, and if you just like staying home and enjoying some peace and quiet for your birthday, well, you should be able to do that. And here's our next post by user/ThermosWorries. I got married in February in a ceremony with about 100 guests. This included my 3 siblings and their kids. One of my brothers is a foster parent, and they brought their 2 foster kids. We took a first round of photos with all the kids, including his fosters, 11 and 13. But then I wanted to do one that was just my siblings and their blood kids. My brother seemed visibly irritated, but I didn't really notice at the time. It was obviously a pretty big whirlwind all day. The thing is, my brother isn't fostering to adopt. He has new foster kids every 2 to 6 months. Sometimes even less time than that. I wanted at least a couple of photos that were just my immediate family and people I knew well. While I understood it was momentarily an uncomfortable situation and didn't fault him for being upset in the moment, it's when the album got sent out, they got theirs today apparently, and they saw I didn't include the photos with the foster kids. We opted for the cheapest album option because what really mattered to us was the digital copies anyways. It was just 18 photos and I wanted to make the most of them, not include a couple of kids I didn't know and would likely never see again. For context, one of the 2 kids who attended the wedding isn't even with him anymore. But he still called when he got it and said he was sending it back to me because I didn't see fit to include the entire family in the album. I told him my reasoning and said I could send a digital copy of the photo with the Fosters to print and add to their album. But he said it reflected my overall attitude and ruined the wedding experience for the kids who had never had a chance to be a part of a formal wedding before. At the time, it felt incredibly sentimentally significant to me to have a photo with just close family. But now that I've had time to reflect and seen how angry my brother is at the situation, I'm starting to get that sinking feeling that I did something very wrong. One photo in my album was not worth tainting the experience for a couple vulnerable kids or jeopardizing their feeling of stability and inclusiveness in their living situation. Or of course, damaging my relationship with my brother. But then, through the other lens, it's just one photo and it will last a lifetime for me. I'm glad I have it and do prefer it to the other photos because those kids were essentially strangers to me. I'm really torn. Am I the butthole for not wanting them in the wedding album photos? Okay, this seems a very popular vote today, but I think I'm going to go no buttholes here again. I don't blame OP's brother for wanting the foster kids in the photo, and at the same time, I think OP had every right to make the photos the way that they saw fit. And OP did include the foster kids in some of the photos, so I feel like both people are acting fairly reasonably, and hence no buttholes here. And here's our next post by user/ConfusedCousin44. Hey all, I, male 20, was playing with my little cousin, female 7. She was saying how girls are better than boys. I asked her why she felt that way, and she said that it's because girls can make babies, but boys can't. I then told her that you need both boys and girls to have babies. She didn't believe me, says I was dumb, as babies come from girls' tummies. I told her that while the baby comes from the mama, the papa needs to put something in the girl's stomach to make it happen. She thought I was making stuff up and went to ask her mother. Her mother told my mother, and they both got angry with me, saying that I shouldn't have started anything in that direction with her and that she's too young to have this kind of talk. Am I the butthole? Alright OP, I think I might have to go with you're the butthole, just because you've caused a potential headache for your aunt. As a 7-year-old, this girl probably won't forget about this quickly, and maybe the mother will have to have a conversation that she hadn't planned to give yet. And here's our next post by user/throwaway17yrfri. 17 years ago, I, 39 female, started going to a new local bar with friends. I quickly became friends with the owner, 51 male. We just clicked. It was great. Over a year later, in early 05, we started dating. I openly admitted I loved him deeply. It ended the last week of 07 because I found out he cheated. I was devastated. I went full no contact for almost a year. Once I got over it, I realized I missed the friendship we had, so I reached out. He felt the same. We became closer than we ever were. It's been 100% platonic since then. The only thing that might be considered inappropriate is that he calls me B. It's shortened from beautiful. He's called me that since I've known him, that's it. In 2011, when I was diagnosed with cancer, he went to chemo with me. In 2013, when his mother and sister tragically died in a car accident, I held his hand as he gave the eulogy. This is how close we are. Through all of this, it was never anything more than friendship. In 2015, I met my husband, 39 male. Around the same time, best friend opened a second location of his bar, so we didn't see each other much. Husband met best friend at this bar. Saw him multiple other times too, never had an issue. I was 100% transparent about the fact that we dated. Still no issue. I had kids and was tied up. We rarely saw each other, but talked almost daily. Husband and I have 2 kids, 3 female and 1 male, and I adopted his daughter from his first marriage, 7 female. Husband is an improved productivity consultant and is out of town frequently. I'm a stay-at-home mum. Recently, best friend hired someone to handle the day-to-day of his bars so he could concentrate on the in vitro him and his girlfriend, 52 female, of 3 years were trying. It was successful. He's beyond excited. He's been reaching out more to me because I have kids. Advice, opinions, etc. multiple times a day. Last week, best friend invited me to an impromptu lunch. Hadn't seen him in almost a year. I happily got the kids ready and went. Husband flipped the F out. It was disrespectful and inappropriate to go without him. He was okay with friendship from afar, but since we talk more now, it makes him uncomfortable that I'm prioritizing a man I used to sleep with and should back off and cut him out. I'm shocked. In 5 years, he's never hinted that it bothered him. They get along great, laugh and joke. I refused. F that. You don't get to pick my friends. It's been 17 years. Before this lunch issue, husband had never shown controlling or even odd behaviors. We've had a great relationship. This came out of left field. Am I the butthole? Geez, this seems almost like something out of a sitcom for me. A stay-at-home mother, wife to a man who's often not home, frequently calls another man and then goes out with him somewhere. Look, I can see why the husband would be uncomfortable, but at the same time not the butthole. If this truly is a very good friend of yours, I understand why you'd want to see him and why you'd want to help him. You just need to make this clear to your husband so that he understands that this person is a friend of yours and nothing more. And I think that story will be the last one for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel for Reddit videos 3 times every single week. But with that said, that is it from me. I hope you all enjoyed, and all I want to do is see you all here next time. See you later, guys.